End of watch list for 2022. Police Officer Christopher Gibson, January 2nd. Detective Joseph Anthony Tripoli, January 3rd. Deportation Officer William Hayes, January 3rd. Trooper John Sumter Horton, January 3rd. Deputy Sheriff Brian Venata, January 3rd. Police Officer Bart Lane Arnold, January 3rd. Police Officer Jesus de la Luz Chu Lara III, January 4th. Police Officer David Leroy Engel, January 4th. Police Officer Franklin Joe, January 4th.
Officer Bruce Eckhoff, January 5th. Police Officer Richard Lynn Tostenson, January 6th. Captain Reginald Kamal Smith, January 7th. Sergeant Gerardo Morales, January 7th. Deputy Sheriff Michael Queenie, January 8th. Detention Sergeant Janelle L. Weiser, January 9th. Police Officer 2 Fernando Uriel Arios, January 10th. Police Officer Diane Gonzalez, January 10th. Corrections Officer 5 Mark A. Loken, January 10th.
Police Officer Brian R. Shields, January 11th. Deputy Sheriff Brian Dennis Moore, January 13th. Chief of Police Michael E. German, January 13th. Deputy Sheriff Joseph Robert Tinoco, January 13th. Captain Jeffrey Allen Pierce, January 13th. Investigator Stephen Ray Finley, January 14th. Deputy Sheriff Terrence Nicholas Bateman, January 15th. Sergeant Malik Z. Majoub, January 15th. Corrections Officer Melissa M. France, January 17th.
Detective James M. Ward, January 17th. Corporal Ernest M. Robinson, January 18th. Police Officer Ramiro Ray Perez, January 18th. Sergeant Kenneth J. Thurman Sr., January 19th. Police Officer Daniel J. Sanchez, January 19th. Chief of Police Don Rife, January 20th. Police Officer Corel Cortez Jones, January 20th. Police Officer Tyler Linehan, January 21st. Assistant Chief Johnny Patterson, January 21st.
Detective Jason Rivera, January 21st. Special Agent Anthony Salas, January 22nd. Lieutenant Kevin Pounders, January 23rd. Deputy Jailer Gregory L. Means, January 23rd. Corporal Charles Galloway, January 23rd. Sergeant Ramon Gutierrez, January 24th. Detective Wilbert D. Mora, January 25th. Police Officer Christopher Wayne Berry, January 25th. Deputy Sheriff John L. Grampovnik, January 27th.
School Resource Officer Travis Hurley, January 27th. Master Trooper Vince Arnold Mullins, January 28th. Deputy Sheriff Noah Rainey, January 29th. Deputy Sheriff Lauren Marie Redmond, January 29th. Police Officer Donald Sahota, January 29th. Senior Correctional Police Officer Robert F. McCormick, January 30th. Master Patrolman William Daniel Kelly, January 30th. Sergeant William Shibley, January 31st. Sergeant Burke N. Hannibal, January 31st.
Police Officer Chris Bardwell, February 1st. Deputy Sheriff LaQuinton J. Wilson, February 1st. Police Officer John Painter, February 1st. Master Police Officer David J. Neves, February 1st. Sergeant Arthur Duron, February 2nd. Deputy Sheriff Steve Bobbitt, February 3rd. Correctional Officer 3 Helen Mae Smith, February 3rd. Sergeant Chris Jenkins, February 3rd. Captain Colin Birney, February 4th.
Chief of Police Richard Leslie Stevens, February 4th. Deputy Sheriff Brian J. Norton, February 5th. Sergeant Robert M. Miller, February 5th. Police Officer Leonard Swanson, February 5th. Special Deputy Marshal Jose Alonso Gomez, February 6th. Agent John Dale Stayrook, February 6th. Corrections Employee Daryl Avery, February 6th. Correctional Officer Braxton Hoffman, February 7th. Police Officer John Mestes, February 7th.
Correctional Officer 4 John Barron Barry, Broadway, February 8th. Corporal Sheely Godbold, February 10th. Corporal Michael R. Springer, February 11th. Deputy Sheriff Aubrey Phillips, February 12th. Corporal James Michael McWhorter, February 12th. Correctional Officer 5 K.W. Ziegler, Jr., February 13th. Police Officer Lonnie Sneed, February 15th. Corporal Michael Keith Morgan, February 16th. Sheriff Robert P. Kraft, February 16th.
Captain Frank Keith Rezek, Jr., February 16th. Deputy Sheriff Jarrett Orazi, February 17th. Corrections Deputy Bridget Lachelle Hunter, February 17th. Police Officer Nicholas Vela, February 19th. Lieutenant Jason T. Dumlau, February 21st. Sergeant Matthew Horton, February 22nd. Deputy Constable Neil Adams, February 23rd. Sergeant John Joseph Donahue, February 23rd. Correctional Lieutenant Steve Taylor, February 24th.
Police Officer George David Alvarado, Jr., February 25th. Patrolman David Glenn Evans, February 25th. Detective Michael W. Godwin, February 27th. Sergeant Joshua Caldwell, February 28th. Lieutenant Scott Brandon Owens, March 1st. Correctional Officer 5, Jose Ruiz, March 1st. Deputy First Class Kenny Olander, March 2nd. Senior Police Officer Robert Eric Duran, March 2nd. Trooper Tamar Anush Bucci, March 3rd.
Police Officer David A. Matura, March 6th. Correctional Officer 5 Lonnie D. Johnson, Jr., March 6th. Corporal Benjamin Lee Cooper, March 8th. Police Officer Jake Alexander Reed, March 9th. Police Officer Freddie Wilson, March 10th. Police Officer Caleb D. Ogilvie, March 14th. Deputy Sheriff Dominique Collada, March 16th. Police Officer Lane Anthony Burns, March 17th. Sergeant Barbara Majors Finley, March 17th.
Trooper Martin Francis Mack III, March 21st. Trooper Brandon Tyler Siska, March 21st. Police Officer Dan Rocha, March 25th. Police Officer 2, Jeffrey Herndon Carson, March 26th. Deputy Sheriff Douglas Warren Sanford, March 29th. Investigator Donald Richard Crooms, March 30th. Major Roderick C. Covington, March 31st. Police Officer Dominic M. Francis, March 31st. Lieutenant William David Lebo, March 31st.
Deputy Sheriff Darren Almendarez, March 31st. Police Officer Trey Marshall Sutton, March 31st. Sergeant Christopher Michael Vaughn, April 1st. Deputy Constable Jennifer Lauren Chavez, April 2nd. Patrol Officer Brian Lee Sember, April 3rd. Police Officer Darrell Wayne Fortner, April 6th. Sergeant Pedro Tony Candia, April 15th. Deputy Sheriff James Jerry Critchlow, April 20th. Police Officer Roy Andrew Barr, April 24th.
Corporal David P. Jones, April 28th. Deputy Sheriff Nicholas D. Weist, April 29th. Sergeant Nicholas W. Tullier, May 5th. Deputy Sheriff Walter Donald Jenkins, Jr., May 11th. Deputy Sheriff Robert Adam Howard, May 11th. Border Patrol Agent Daniel Humberto Salazar, May 13th. Chief Deputy Sheriff Jody Wayne Cash, May 16th. Police Officer Stephen Charles Plum, Jr., May 16th. Supervisory Police Officer Yi Tak Lewis Tao, May 17th.
Senior Correctional Police Officer Daniel Sienkiewicz, May 19th. Correctional Officer 4 Jade Drennan, May 19th. Officer Trainee Cody Allen Olafson, May 20th. Lieutenant Mark Allen Pike, May 20th. Supervising Fire Marshal John Joseph Jack McCauley, May 28th. Police Officer Houston Ryan Tipping, May 29th. Deportation Officer Brian Wayne Turner, May 29th. Special Agent Peter Christopher Egan, June 1st. Officer Adrian Lopez Sr., June 2nd.
Deputy Sheriff Thomas E. Baker III, June 3rd. Police Officer Christopher Nicholas Fariello, June 8th. Senior Investigator Kyle Lee Patterson, June 9th. Police Officer Kenneth Winston Kroom, June 9th. Detective Justin Michael Terry, June 10th. Deputy First Class Glenn R. Hillard, June 12th. Sergeant Michael Domingo Paredes, June 14th. Police Officer Joseph Anthony Santana, June 14th. Sergeant Sean Free, June 14th.
Deputy Sheriff Austin W. Melvin Richardson, June 14th. Deputy Sheriff J. Mar Cullen Abel, June 20th. Deputy Sheriff Austin Derek Aldridge, June 21st. Detention Officer Jeremiah James Story, June 22nd. Deputy Sheriff Jeff L. Hermanson, June 22nd. Sergeant Richard Lopez, June 28th. Reserve Officer Jeffrey Michael David Richardson, June 29th. Deputy Sheriff Bradley Stephen Henry Johnson, June 30th. Captain Ralph Harlow Frazier, June 30th.
Deputy Sheriff William Edward Petrie, June 30th. Police Officer Jacob Russell Chaffins, July 1st. Sergeant John K. Williams, July 3rd. Patrolman Charles G. Stepetich, July 3rd. Police Officer Paul Shipwright, July 4th. Police Officer Lauren Michael Kortz, July 6th. Patrol Supervisor Ronald D. Spangler, Jr., July 15th. Police Officer Brian D. Olaf, July 16th. Under Sheriff Lawrence George Corin, July 16th.
Lieutenant Fred Douglas Beers III, July 16th. Deputy Sheriff Michael Adam Levison, July 16th. Patrolman Vincent Anthony Parks, July 17th. Police Officer Frederick G. Maley, July 17th. Police Officer Daniel Francisco Vasquez, July 19th. Sergeant Christopher James Nelson, July 19th. Police Officer Anthony Patrick Mazurkiewicz, July 21st. Supervisory Deportation Officer Rachel Elizabeth Velmes, July 23rd. Deputy Sheriff Matthew Eugene Yates, July 24th.
Sergeant Jean Harold Louis Astry, July 28th. Mounted Deputy Nicole Schuff Ballant, July 29th. Deputy Sheriff Lorenzo Bustos, July 29th. Deputy Sheriff 2, Jamie Lynn Reynolds, July 31st. Police Officer Noah Jacob Chavanez, July 31st. Deputy Sheriff Dallas Ryan Edeburn, August 1st. Sergeant Matthew Ryan Fishman, August 2nd. Special Police Officer Marika Manyan, August 4th. Conservation Officer Lawrence E. Cabana, August 6th.
Deputy Sheriff Andrew Peary, August 7th. Corporal Chad M. Beatty, August 10th. Deputy Sheriff Ned P. Bird, August 11th. Police Officer Cesar Echeverry, August 17th. Captain William Riley Hargraves, August 19th. Special Agent Jose Antonio Perez, August 20th. Police Officer Ivan Marcio Lopez, August 22nd. Sergeant Robert Blaine Schwartz, August 22nd. Sergeant F. Brent Jomazak, August 23rd.
Sergeant Harold Lee Russell II, August 23rd. Detective Matthew Walker Blansett, August 23rd. Constable Deborah Martinez Garabay, August 25th. Correctional Officer 3, Caitlin Brene Rittenauer, September 3rd. Deputy Sheriff Jonathan Randall Kowalski, September 8th. Deputy Sheriff Marshal Samuel Evan Jr., September 8th. Trooper Cadet Patrick Donnell Dupree, September 8th. Police Officer Dylan Michael Vakoff, September 11th. Captain Janelle Sanders, September 11th.
Police Officer Lloyd Mike Todd, September 12th. Police Officer Sierra Burton, September 18th. Deputy Sheriff Michael Hartwick, September 22nd. Senior Patrol Officer Anthony Martin, September 23rd. Master Police Officer Tyrell Owens Riley, September 24th. Detention Corporal Gregory Thomas Horn Sr., September 25th. Sergeant Megan Burke, September 29th. Major Terry Randall Turtle Arnold, October 3rd. Deputy Sheriff Blaine Lane, October 4th.
Deputy Sheriff Sidney Carter, October 7th. Investigator Maisha Brianna Stewart, October 11th. Lieutenant Dustin DeMont, October 12th. Sergeant Alex Hamzy, October 12th. Police Officer Turong Tai, October 13th. Police Officer Stephen R. Northam II, October 18th. Officer George Arias, October 19th. Sergeant Ivan M. Morales, October 28th. Police Officer Logan K. Medlock, October 30th.
Sergeant Daniel Allen Camerzel, November 5th. Lieutenant Christina Zell, November 7th. Criminal Investigator Stephen A. Carnes, November 13th. Police Officer Brandon Sy, November 14th. Marine Interdiction Agent Michael O. Maceda, November 17th. Police Officer Jordan Jackson, November 21st. Deputy Sheriff Christopher Taylor, November 22nd. Detective Sergeant Frank Galdino, December 1st. Sergeant Santos Sonny Perez, December 2nd.
Deputy Sheriff Jose Angel Dillon, December 4th. Border Patrol Agent Raul Humberto Gonzalez Jr., December 7th. Reserve Deputy Brad Miller, December 12th. Court Services Officer Curtis Matthew Warland, December 13th. Senior Corrections Officer Scott Osborne Reener, December 13th. Police Officer Brandon Paul Estorfi, December 14th. Sergeant Stephen Robin, December 14th. Sergeant Ronald Scobie, December 15th. Deputy Sheriff J. Ken, December 15th. Deputy Sheriff Oscar Giovanni Bolonones Anavisca, Jr., December 16th.
Chief of Police Joe Carey, December 16th. Detective Paul Daniel Newell, December 17th. Deputy Sheriff Corey D. McElroy, December 21st. Corporal Ray Charles Hamilton, December 24th. Deputy Sheriff Isaiah Cordero, December 29th.
This concludes the list of fallen officers for 2022. K-9 end of watch listing for 2022. K-9 Benny, January 5th. K-9 Jedi, January 5th. K-9 Nitro 2, February 8th. K-9 Maya, February 17th. K-9 Zero, March 3rd. K-9 Dash, March 9th. K-9 Major, April 10th. K-9 Jinx, April 11. K-9 Minna, May 2nd.
K-9 Blues, May 12th. K-9 Drago, Florida, June 15th. K-9 Exo, June 23rd. K-9 Odin, June 26th. K-9 Cannon, June 28th. K-9 Drago, Kentucky, June 30th. K-9 Frankie, July 26th. K-9 Max, August 3rd. K-9 Blue, August 7th.
K-9 Haynes, August 18th. K-9 Axel, August 27th. K-9 Lux, September 18th. K-9 Rocket, September 19th. K-9 Figo, October 7. K-9 Pepper, November 16th. K-9 Jack, December 22nd. And this concludes the list of end of watch for our K-9 officers. We appreciate your time, and we would like to thank those officers and K-9s for their service. We ask you to keep them and their families in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.